Flushing crimson, Ollie continues to frown. Because they both look good to me, I say in desperation, setting in. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? I can practically hear Elliot shrieking in horror. Thankfully, at this point, Ollie starts to grin. It makes him look really boyish and way more approachable. It's my right side, he says, and turns back to face the trailer. Is that her? You're right. Or mine? That looks really good. Ooh, let me see my one. Megan cries, grabbing the camera from him and pressing the buttons wildly. My whole body tenses. Normally, I don't mind sharing things. I even give half my advent calendar chocolates to my brother. Tom. To my brother Tom, but my camera is different. It's my most prized possession. It's my safety net. Oh my God. Penny, Megan shrieks. What have you done? It looks like I've got a mustache. She slams the camera down to the table. Careful, I say. Megan glares at me before picking up the camera and fiddling with the buttons. Oh, I delete the picture of me. I grab it back from her a little too forcefully, and one of her false fingernail catches on the strap. Ow! You've broken my nail. How could you? You could have broken my camera. Is that all you care about? Megan glares at me across the table. It's not my fault you look. You took such a terrible picture. In my head, an answer forms itself. It's not my fault you made me take it that way because you've got a spot. But I stop myself from saying it. Let me see, Ollie says, taking the camera from me, and he starts to laugh, and Megan glares at me even harder. I feel a familiar tightness gripping my throat. I try to swallow it, but it's impossible. I feel trapped inside the booth. Please don't let this be happening again. I silently plead, but it is. A burning heat rushes through my body. I can barely breathe. The pictures of movie stars lining the wall all suddenly seem to be staring down at me. The music from the jukebox is suddenly too loud. The red chairs are too bright. No matter what I do, I can't seem to control my own body. The palms of my hands go clammy and my heart starts to pound. Ho, 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 the mechanical Father Christmas by the door calls, but he doesn't sound cheery anymore. He sounds menacing. I need to go, I say quietly. But what about the picture? Megan whines, flicking her glossy dark hair over her shoulder. I'll delete it. What about your milkshake? Kara says. I take some money from my purse and put it on the table. Hopefully they don't notice my fingers trailing. What are you guys